Let's see what happens in Ugly Duckling Don't. Maenam is a very shy and insecure teenage girl who suffers from a strange mental illness. She hates her own face, and because of that, she always wears a box over her head. Maenam believes that she is the ugliest person alive. Been there, my friend, been there. In a result, she doesn't look herself in the mirror and does not leave the house where she lives with her brother Plawan and her father, Mr. Ban. One day, her brother returns home with a bruised elbow and confesses that he shoplifted. When Mr. Ban wants to punish him, he says how about the psycho sister? He wants to distract his father. And so, Maenam, being very insecure, has a panic attack, which seems to happen a lot. Her father calms her down and she returns to her room and starts to write her story on her blog about becoming an ugly duckling. Here, we realize how this condition happened to her. She was a pretty normal kid. She played, she laughed, she studied like other children until one day she confessed her love to a boy that she liked in front of other students and gave him a gift. The boy seems to be the most popular boy in the school as well, so of course he is mean. Having a lot of options, he tells Maenam that she is the ugliest girl ever and the other students chant with him. I would have been traumatized too actually. He throws the gift on the ground and tells Maenam to wear a bag over her head. She ran to her house crying and refused to go to a school ever again. Her dad tried to talk to her but she wouldn't agree, so Mr. Ban decided to homeschool his daughter. The idea of the bag came to her when one day her balloon got stuck on a tree and a stranger offered help. She found the bag and wore it, and suddenly it was like she found what she needed. After a while, the bag turned into a box because it was steadier. She even did not allow her brother and father to look at her, maybe once every couple of weeks by accident. So like this, she spent most of her time at home, enjoying talking to strangers on her blog, since on social media, you can live as a faceless entity. Her father goes to see Maenam's doctor and wants the solution for her sickness, and her doctor says that she is not sick, but she has a condition, and in Japan, they call it hikikomori. Plus, she says that they are very lucky because most of the people who has this condition completely shut themselves off from everyone, including their family. At the end, the doctor asks Mr. Ban to take his daughter out and have her have a social life before it's too late. So when Mr. Ban returns home and they are having a meal together, he deepens his voice and says that he has something very important to say. His children thinks that he wants to come out as a gay man. The mustache actually fooled me too, I can see that, but he says that Maenam should return to school. Maenam is very angry at her dad, but Mr. Ban has the final say. Maenam, being a teenager, obviously tells her dad that she hates her and goes to her room. She cries for hours and thinks about school and how much people will bully her. Her brother comes in her room with a new box and says that he won't allow anyone to make fun of her at the school, and the new box is a kind of a gift. Maenam takes off the box that she has on and she is actually really pretty. With Plawan's help, Maenam decorates the new box and she feels much better. The following day, Mr. Ban takes his children to school and Maenam is very nervous. Finally, she thanks her dad for trying and apologizes for saying mean things to him. When she is gone, Mr. Ban, like the sassy drama queen that he is, starts to cry. Maenam's giant bright box does not go unnoticed at the school and everyone points at her. When other students laugh, she is reminded of the day that she was humiliated. She is getting more and more nervous and feels lightheaded. She is about to fall and suddenly, a helmet-wearing guy comes to the rescue and catches her. Seeing another person with a kind of a box on their head is a bit relaxing for Maenam. The guy introduces himself and says his name is Minton, and Maenam panics because she hasn't seen people for years. She runs away and bumps into the most popular guy in the school, Zero. He and his crew make fun of Maenam and ask her to remove the box. When she refuses, they want to force it off. I wonder where is the security of this school. Then suddenly, Minton shows up and takes off his mask. He and Zero trash talk for a few minutes, and at the end, they arrange a fight after the school and Minton takes Maenam's hand and they leave. In the next scene, Maenam is standing in the class and talks to her classmates, and the teacher is informed of her condition. She tells the student to respect her, but they are the worst. They even throw papers at her. She sits at the back, and Minton, who is her classmate, is very angry at others. At lunch break, Maenam sits alone because she can't find her brother and wants to eat with the box on her head. But two bullies come and want to take the box by force. This school can export bullies because no one helps her and they all laugh. Maenam runs away crying and sits on the swing set. Then Minton sits beside her wearing his helmet, but Maenam thinks that even he is making fun of her. Minton says that he just likes the way he looks with the helmet. Then he gives her a sandwich because she couldn't eat anything at lunch break. They talk and joke around for a few minutes, but Maenam says that she won't go to a school the next day. Minton says that they are friends now and she should go to a school at least for his sake. After the school, Minton wants to return home and see Zero with his minions. They trash talk again and Minton challenges Zero to a one-on-one fight and he agrees. They fight and Maenam sees them from afar, but suddenly the cops show up. They run away and Zero sees Maenam on his way and takes her with him. They go to a quiet area. He removes the box by force and stares at her, and he is speechless of how beautiful she is. Maenam thinks that the stare is because she is ugly, and again she is reminded of that day. Then she faints. When she wakes up, she finds herself at a hospital with her dad and brother standing there. She immediately touches her face and realizing that she doesn't have her box on, she panics. The nurse brings her a face mask. Mr. Bond apologizes for forcing her to go to a school and says that she can stay home again. But Maenam says that she wants to go back to a school because she wants to take revenge from Zero. The next day, while Zero is sitting and thinking about Maenam and why does that beautiful idiot cover her face, Maenam slaps him in the face. Zero takes Maenam to a quiet place and wants to force her to take her mask off again, and Minton comes out of nowhere and punches him. They fight again and Maenam separates them. She talks to them and says that her life is harder than before now that they are fighting, and both boys accuse each other of liking Maenam. Zero refuses and says that she is even ugly, and Maenam has another panic attack. Minton helps her and they go away. The next day, we see Maenam back to her old insecure self with a box over her head. She refuses to get out of her room again, and her dad and brother are worried again that she won't ever go out. Someone knocks at the door and it's Zero. He came to apologize to Maenam, but Plawan does not allow him in, saying that he is responsible for Maenam's factory reset. The day after, Minton comes and wants to talk to her, and he brought something with him. Maenam does not want to see him, but he is persistent. Finally, she wears a mask and to her surprise, Minton made a duck using a box. She laughs out loud and we see that Minton even made his own helmet ridiculous, looking like a duck. They share a sandwich and Minton says that if she is in, they can make a band and name it Daft Punk. He also promises that if she returns to school, he will look after her. He convinces him, and the next day, Maenam goes to a school with Minton on his bike. When she is alone, Zero approaches again and tries to apologize, but Plawan comes again and sends Zero away. In the class, a girl named Ozone approaches Maenam and asks her a favor. As it turns out, everybody in the school thinks that Maenam is dating Zero. Ozone asks Maenam to tell Zero that he should stop bullying others. She says that it's not true and she is not dating him and storms away. The same favor is asked of her again by some others too at lunch break. Someone tells her that her brother is getting beat up by Zero in the yard. She goes out and finds Zero's minions beating the crap out of his brother. She asks Zero to tell them to stop. Zero says if she takes off the box, he won't bully anyone ever again. After thinking for a while, she takes the box and reveals her face, and everyone is shocked of how pretty she is. She runs towards Minton and hugs him, saying that now the cat's out of the bag. This is the first time that Minton is seeing Maenam and he cannot believe how beautiful she is. He calms her down and another day of the drama in school is over. At home, Plawan tells Maenam that someone posted a photo of her at school and everyone loved how beautiful she is. She doesn't feel any better and goes to her room and sees that her window is open. Suddenly, Zero comes out from behind the curtains. He puts his hands on Maenam's mouth and apologizes for calling her ugly. He tells her that not only she isn't ugly, but also she's very beautiful. And then he leaves. When he's gone, Mei Na puts a photo of herself on her blog and one of her followers say how pretty she is. After years, she looks at herself in the mirror and finally sees her beauty. The next day, she goes to school without a box or a mask. Looks like she's finally ready to live as a normal person. This was the recap of Ugly Duckling, Don't, a Thai comedy. Make sure to subscribe for more recaps. Thanks!